they're mean. They're 700 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide. Green flag, showtime. The Knoxville Nationals are green.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, here to bring you, let's count them, Sunday 1, Monday 2, yesterday 3. That'll make tonight night number 4 of Championship Week here in the Coast to Coast Racing League. And, you know, before they count drop weeks, I don't really have that information on me. But going into tonight, Kurt Schatzer is your point leader here in the 360s. And he has a points lead of just 4 points over the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Blake Chapman there with he's at 530. He's run 2 less races. Dean Reynolds at 453 running 2 less races as well. So once drop weeks factor in here, Blake Chapman might be on the rise. It's going to be really close. Not too sure how it will be. We're going to have to keep our eye on that at the end of this thing. See if the 39 of Patrick Spangler is on his horse and upgrades the points as soon as they come in. But, you know, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Velocity Race Designs. Huge shout out to Velocity Race Designs for picking up the sponsorship. Let's see if we can actually hear. Is Jeff Barker in the session? No, Jeff Barker's currently in the pits or not on track. I was going to see if we could check out a Velocity Race Designs car here. Because when we see that 513 here later on this evening of Jeff Barker, that's a beautiful black and green car that Velocity Race Designs put together, and just, I mean, a exemplary workmanship. Right now we're watching Connor Ross here run on the bottom. Royal, known as the Speed Palace. I mean, they really get it here. There's no doubt about it. You're basically on this kind of track. I mean, you're wide open right now, and not much lifting. As the track wears down, of course, you're going to have throttle control through the middle and an exit as always. But right now, I mean, it's pretty much if you've got it, go get it.
Shaggy, you there?
Yeah, dude, I'm live. What's up? I'm Sometimes that's the wonders of sim racing here. I had an admin wasn't too sure we were live. Sorry about that confusion there. If you heard somebody pop in and, well, me answer them because I forgot to, of course, mute myself. But I was just checking to make sure I was ready to go. And as you guys see here, we are ready to go. We're live. We're ready to roll. So is this 79 here, Dean Reynolds right now. P8 on the speed chart, but we know the longer they run, the slower the times are going to be here as they progress. So Dean Reynolds, it's definitely could be a track where he's comes into play at the end here. I mean, he's been mastering the sprint cars. Won last night in the retreads, 360s at Volusia. And I mean, slap a wing on something. This 79, he's become a hell of a racer. See who's on the track here in some of these other sessions. Right now we got the 5 of Isaac Salas out on the track. I did get word from them, you know, if you got to go to the bathroom, get a drink, feel free. I think they're not going to roll. I was told they're going to have a driver's meeting in about 5 minutes, so that would be about 3 minutes from now, and then they were going to roll to the race at quarter of. So till then, you know, just sit around, enjoy. Not going to be too much happening. I talked a little bit about the points lead. That is going to be a story here as we go through the night. Right now, Kurt Schatzer with a 4-point lead over Jeff Parker, who Kurt then has a 22-point lead over third place Blake Chapman, but Blake Chapman, 2 races less run this season. So I'm not too sure if the points I'm looking at have a drop week or 2 already taken out of it. It's actually, I guess, yeah, they do have 1 taken out of it here. I think I'm looking at the points. This is 9 have counted, so Blake, even with missing an extra race, still with a chance for a championship. He's going to have to win. I mean, going to have to win and put the pressure on Kurt and Jeff. But if anybody could do it, it's that kid in the 20. Blake Chapman's always got a fast hot rod. We're going to give you some sights and sounds here. I thought we were going to go closer to 7:30 here, so I'm gonna run, grab a water bottle off the top the fridge here real quick while you guys watch Steve Bixler or Isaac Salas, Pat Boyce, whoever it decides to rotate to, and drive around the Port Royal Speedway. I will be right back. This driver's meeting is probably happening right now as you're seeing a lot of the guys slow down or either pull off the track. You get a view of, man, Patrick Spengler knows how much I love that freaking car. Now, Jeff Barker here, he's going to appear inside of it, but that 39M, boy, do I love that thing. That thing looks so good. Anthony Macri is arguably my favorite 410 driver in the country right now. I mean, you can't root for Kyle Larson anytime he's in a wing sprint. But those two are on the track at the same time. I'm probably wearing an Anthony Macri t-shirt, that's for sure. Right up the road from me, Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. And he knows how to run around here, especially the outside of Port Royal. And I mean, they call Patrick the high side banger. They call Anthony the concrete kid. I mean, partially because his father owns a concrete company, but you know, he likes to go up there and slap that right rear off the concrete. He likes to take that highway around and really let it bang. And I mean, we're going to see Patrick Spengler probably run that way, that same way here tonight. Is clicking through other rooms right now. It doesn't look like anyone on the track here trying to give us any good views. As you know, we haven't really had a lot of drivers join up here in the last couple minutes, so not sure if maybe they'll advance this thing or we'll still keep on keeping on and waiting. But you know, don't forget here, we got one more race coming up in championship week, and that'll be tomorrow night for Thursday Night Thunder, and we're going to be at Oswego Speedway. Going to get on the dirt in the small block 358s and then the big blocks right after it. So if you're bored, make sure well, even if you're not bored, mark your calendar. I mean, Marty's going to be here tomorrow night. I think I'm going to try to sit in with him. But it's definitely going to be a good show, and I mean, being championship week, you do not want to miss it. Let's try to see. Corey Denson looks to be the closest to starting lap number 1. Is the 91 rolls the middle of 1 and 2. We're gonna send it in there to 3. It's at the stick in the middle. That's looks like a pretty good line. Not a lot of bouncing around there. 91 found a good grip. I mean, it's slow, though, according to that time. He's not going to be happy with that. Tell you who is. I told you, you got to keep an eye on this guy when he gets to something with a wing on it. The 79 of Dean Reynolds. He just got bumped down to P3 because the concrete kid, Patrick Spangler here, going to merge him in that VNS Supply JNS Classics 39. He is at the top. Brian Moore Sr. P2. Dino's still able to hold on to P3, but Anthony Morano coming up P4. Do we have anybody still out here on our time? Blake Chapman's on his second and final lap. Currently P5th. Let's see what Blake can do. Blake purple in sector 2. But too slow in sector 1. Only going to move up one spot. He's going to move up to P4. Now this guy, 100 grand, Joseph Grandy, he's coming out for qualifying. I have a feeling we're going to see that green circle under the Shaggy Mobile turn white during his first lap. Is here he takes the green flag for lap number 1. Yeah, he's not going to be able to finish. That's what I was getting to. You know, they don't set these qualifying sessions up for a long time. There's no reason to. Everybody can go on the track at once, and you know, you got to be ready, and you got to be on your toes, paying attention, and that's going to stink there for 100 grand. Is going to have to work his way from the back, but we get ready for Gambler Motorsports heat race number 1. And the starting grid is going to look a little something like this. Starting on the pole, the 789 of Cale Bixler, and his outside, Superman Kurt Schatzer. Inside of row number 2. Champion, or yeah, actually Superman. He is your current points leader. I was looking at the 410s there. I had the wrong one on my screen. But so you gotta be rooting for that 218 of Superman there on the outside of the front row. But the guy right behind him on the inside of row number 2, Blake Chapman, he is also in that title hunt. And then to his outside, in the 35, old Canada Connor Ross. Rounding out the field tonight, we have Corey Denson in the 91 and Patrick Spangler. I bet you he's going to sit in the pits here, possibly pull out once the green flag waves. But he likes to start in the back of these features, so we'll watch Patrick try to do the climb here at Port Royal. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Long front stretch. Gotta be patient as they wait for the green flag. It's out. Superman, or Cale Bixler, leads us into turn number 1. But Superman, he's put that cape on fast. He's flying around the outside is the 218, and we've got a new leader going into 3 and 4. Connor Ross trying to follow him by on the outside as Connor moves up to P2. Connor Ross started 5th, up to 2nd. Or 6th, excuse me, up to 2nd, up 4 spots. He had gotten moved up a row because Patrick Spangler didn't grid, so technically that'll be a P4 start. But oh, Corey Denson gets into the back of a sideways Cale Bixler. As right now, Kurt Schatzer proven to be too much for the boys to handle up front. He's pulling away. Connor Ross has his hands full of the salesman, Blake Chapman. Blake Chapman, your Renegades points champion this season in the Open 360s, trying to win a fixed 360 championship, and he knows how hard it's going to be to accomplish if he cannot get by that 218 of Kurt Schatzer. Connor has caught Kurt as well. Connor all over the rear end, looking to the high side of the 218 as we enter 3 and 4. Gonna cross over, cut down to the bottom. Connor is side by side with the white flag in the air. Final time around. Kurt Schatzer looking to counter back out at 2. Can he throw a big slider to take the lead back? Final time through 3 and 4. What is gonna happen? The 35 counters back, coming to the checkered flag. Kurt Schatzer holds off for the win. Connor Ross 2nd, Blake Chapman 3rd, Corey Denson 4th, Cale Bixler in 5th. What a way to start off the heat racing here. Championship night, Hometown Hero 360s division, sponsored by Velocity Race Designs. You cannot ask for anything more than that. We're Gonna wait for that starting grid of Regency Home Inspections Heat Race number 2. There we go. Starting on the pole, the 88 of Trent Verstraeten. Into his outside in the 41, Pat Boyce. The inside of row number 2, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano in the 32. Into his outside in the 55, Brian Moore Sr. Rounding out the field tonight in row number 3, we have the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker, currently second in points. And to his outside, his teammate and good friend in the 7, Bob DeGood. The pace car should pull off here going on the backstretch. He does. Trent Verstraeten and Pat Boyce will get ready to bring us to the green flag here at the Speed Palace. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're racing in Regency Home Inspections Heat Race number 2. Trent Verstraeten with a great start. Anthony Morano trying to hook up on the bottom and follow him on by, but Pat Boyce not giving up yet on the high side. Anthony Morano says, I can do better down here, Shaggy. Third to first, 1 lap, new leader at the line, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Trent Verstraeten looking to counter back, touches that inside wall. He has to get on the binders here. He's going to lose 1, 2, maybe 3 spots if Jeff Barker gets hungry, but he's going to slide back on the high side of Brian Moore Sr. Anthony Morano, cool, calm, and collected out front, pulling away from the 41 of Pat Boyce, who now he's starting to feel a little bit of heat from that 88 of Trent Verstraeten. Trent has calmed down, but there, as soon as I say that, little commentator's curse overdrives corner entry. Trent, if you just calm down, you got a good shot here at P2, but you gotta realize nobody's catching the Ant-Man right now. Anthony Morano so fast out front in that 32 machine, and we have 2 more times around. Jeff Barker, the guy in P2 in points, knows every spot he can get here is 3 spots in the feature, so Jeff is fighting hard. He needs to get by Brian Moore as the white flag flies 1 more time around. Here in Port Royal, PA, it is all about speed. Anthony Morano hammer down, going down the backstretch as he leads us through 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag in the air for the 32 of Anthony Morano, followed by Pat Boyce, Trent Verstraeten, Brian Moore Sr., the Brewerton Beast, and Bob DeGood. The Ant-Man gets it done in heat race number 2, and he will start on the outside of the front row for tonight's feature event. Heat number 3, presented by Mauer Farm Management, looks a little something like this. Starting on the pole, the mare, Steven Bixler in the 75, and to his outside in the 747, the Bassman, Roger Craig. Inside of row number 2, did somebody call for a slide job? We've got Isaac Salas in the 5, and to his outside in the 79, Dean Reynolds. Rounding out the field tonight in row number 3, Soupy Dan McLaren in the 88, and to his outside, $100,000, Joseph Grandy. We get ready to roll here for what I believe is the 3rd and final heat race here this evening. Steve Bixler and Roger Craig get set to bring us to the green flag. An eye on that 518, the 79. Well, keep an eye out on everyone. I mean, geez, this is a stacked heat race. As the green flag is high, it's waving. We're racing off into turn number 1. Nino going up on the top shelf here, looking to get a big run on the high side of that 75. It's going to work. Nino up to P2. Joseph Grandy already from 6th to 3rd here as he rolls on the outside through 3 and 4. Steven Bixler gets a little sideways, able to save it in the 75. Look at him roll down the backstretch. The 79, new leader out front, able to get by the Bassman Roger Craig, but Roger's not going to unhook the Bass that easy as he's trying to reel the 79 back in. Dino proven to be too much to handle out front, pulling away from the 747. But don't look up in that mirror, Roger. You got two rockets behind you. Isaac Salas ready to throw the slide job in the 5 as he moves up to P2. Oh, he bounces off the wall. Gets into Roger. We got a hard wreck here at the Speed Palace. My, oh my, big one. 2 to go as Dean Reynolds has this one locked up. The only battle now after that accident here is going to be for P2. But Roger Craig, he's got his hands full if he wants to move up there to P2. Damaged race car and only one more lap to get it done. Dean Reynolds hit his marks, got to the front early and never looked back. Final time through 3 and 4. He's going to start on the inside of row number 2 for tonight's feature as Dean Reynolds' heat race number 3 winner, followed by Steve Bixler, Roger Craig, Dan McLaren, Isaac Salas, and Joseph Grandy. As I believe we will be taking a quick break now and doing a little warm-up session here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. So if that is the case, we'll cut over and make sure you stick around. Don't go anywhere as we will be right back with your feature action this evening. We are back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Right now, the Ant-Man Anthony Morano at the top of the speed charts in that 32 machine. Right behind him, the guy who's going to start in the back of this feature here, I'd imagine, Patrick Spangler. This is one of his favorite tracks. We'll have to see how high he can climb. Going to have his work cut out for him here tonight in that 39. Bob DeGood right now, P3 on the charts. Good to see that 7 up here. The track slicks off, still has a lot of speed. Bob DeGood, that's going to make him feel confident going into tonight. 40 seconds left here, you can see. We go back to racing as Blake Chapman moves to the top of the charts, but not for long because Soupy just took it over in the 88. Whoa, wild ride for Daddy's Money, Connor Ross. Blake Chapman avoids a spinning Trent Verstraeten there as warm-ups are about to come to an end. We got triple zeros on that clock. There we go. Racers disappear as we teleport into the future with cars lined up on the front stretch where everyone is buckled in and we're ready to go racing here in Port Royal, PA. There we go. I was going to say whenever I get a chance to bring that up. Looks like there we go. It's up. Starting on the pole, the current point leader in the 218, Superman Kurt Schatzer, and his outside the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Inside of row number 2, Dean Reynolds in the 79, and to his outside, Connor Ross. Inside of row number 3, we have the 41 of Pat Boyce, and to his outside, the Mayor, Steven Bixler. Inside of row number 4, the salesman, Blake Chapman, and to his outside, Trent Verstraeten. Inside of row number 5, the Bassman, Roger Craig, and to his outside in the 91, Corey Denson. Inside of row number 6, Brian Moore Sr., and to his outside, Soupy Dan McLaren. Inside of row number 7, the 789 of Cale Bixler, and his outside, the Brewer to Beast, Jeff Barker. The rest of the field, Isaac Salas, Patrick Spangler, Bob DeGood, Joseph Grandy. They cut us short there. We're getting ready to go racing. As the pace car is off, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. As we have 18 cars about to do 25 laps at the Speed Palace. We're racing off into turn number 1. Anthony Morano trying to look to the outside of the 218 Kurt Schatzer as he easily gets it done. Kurt Schatzer seeing how big of a run you get on that top shelf right now. Battle. Oh, somebody's around the 789 of Cale Bixler. Him and Bob DeGood, we see the aftermath. Let's see what happens. I'm going to try to go to the Chapman Racing drone camera here. There's contact in front. Gets into Brian Moore Sr., comes down. Bob DeGood. Or wait, no, that wasn't Bob DeGood there. Who is that? All right, this is where we get to go hunting. It's not Jeff Barker. We know that. Was it Patrick Spangler? Maybe Isaac Salas. Not too sure, but you see contact led to them getting around, and Cale Bixler's taking a stroll down pit road here, trying to get this thing fixed. Bob DeGood doing the same. See, I believe that was Isaac Salas. I couldn't tell that was the Venom logo there on the top, but upside down it looked like a 7. Yeah, it's Isaac Salas getting into the back of Brian Moore Sr., and then nowhere for Bob. Cale to go. That's just, it's going to happen when you're rolling off into the corner at speeds over 100. Is Kurt Schatzer the man out front here? Just trying to do what he can to secure this points lead is the 218 of Kurt Schatzer. We roll through 3 and 4. You see no more pace car. The 218 can fire anytime after now, and he gets a great jump. Good jump for the 218 of Kurt Schatzer. The Ant-Man, Anthony Morano, he's looking to strike on the bottom. Anthony trying to be quick about it. Car end over end. Who is that? That's Soupy. Dan McLaren wrecking hard, bringing out the caution. A good bit of cars involved. Let's see here. We'll go back. We'll watch that from the green flag here with Dan McLaren. McLaren. You see him on the outside, that blue and white ride. He gets the right rear into the outside wall. Too sure yet what happens. Is on the outside of Corey Denson now. Corey pushed back up the track. Hard into Dan, and Dan goes end over end. Wild ride for the 88. Go back and watch this in real time.
Hang on, we're not going green. Not going green.
And McLaren with a hard hit. Well, hopefully he was able to get that thing in and get it quick repaired. But honestly, I bet you that thing was a handful to steer into the pits. He's going to be tough to even get it there without having to tow, let alone get in, make those turns, and get out in time. So that might be the end of the night here for the 88 of Dan McLaren. Tough break. Clearly had a lot of speed. Out front, Kurt Schatzer, the point leader.
We're not going green.
He
Not
doesn't
going
care.
green.
He's going to keep extending this here. Not sure. Extend the green here as you hear the spotter. iRacing spotter say we're not going green. So that's them, just not too sure why. Extending the... No, there we go. Okay. Now they cut it short after that. Maybe a wrong button. So now we're going to roll back to the green flag, single file. The 218 brings us back to the green flag. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Should have
green,
20 to go here at the Speed Palace as we take the green flag. Excuse me, still 21 to go. Kurt Schatzer with a great jump out front. Isaac Salas right now able to get by the Bassman. Is there 3 wide? Roger Craig in the middle. Trent Verstraeten in the wall on the outside. Ignore Corey Denson being the leader. We know it's Kurt Schatzer. It will end up having to reset, but looks like Jeff Barker up and over somehow. Tough break here for the Brewerton Beast. Let's go back and see if we can get a replay. They may have been wrecking in front of him. Jeff may have gotten the aftermath of this. I'm seeing Roger Craig, Joseph Grandy involved. So let's see here. All right, so he gets some help there from Trent Verstraeten. Then Joseph Grandy and Barker. Oh my gosh. That is wild. Let's watch that from Jeff Barker's on car. There's nothing you can really do. End over end. Tough break for Jeffrey Barker. Watch it one more time at full speed. We're under caution for, I believe, the 3rd time here this evening. Hopefully the boys can behave themselves and start to play nice. Or we may have a long evening on our hands. If you're out there watching, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat box. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Head on over to Shaggy TV. Do the same for me. I'd love you for it. As I haven't had any kids yet, you know, maybe if talk a bunch of people into following me, maybe I still have naming rights available for my first child.
Hang on, we're not going green. Not going green.
See, it said, hang on, we're not going green, but the pace car's in pit road, not too sure what's going on here this evening. guys are going to have to wait here for the pace truck to pull out. Actually, let's see what happened here. Anthony Morano. Was Anthony involved in that wreck? Might be Anthony. Not too sure what happened to the 32, but it looks like we're getting ready to go green this time as we are back underway here at the Speed Palace. Kurt Schatzer just wants to get this thing rolling, try to get some momentum as he has a good start, able to get a good jump on the 79, but the 79 of Dean Reynolds right back to that top shelf. All over the back of the 218 as he enters turn one, looking to get a good run off of two. Can he look low on Superman? He's sending it into 3 and 4. Slide job by Dino. Kurt Schatzer looks to counter back. Let's see what Kurt brings as he throws it off into 1 and 2. Slide job of his own. Meanwhile, while these two race up front, Connor Ross and Blake Chapman trying to assert themselves into the picture. Look at the salesman on the bottom through 3 and 4. Right now, Connor Ross fights back on the high side through 3 and 4 as they're side by side. Not too sure where you want to be now. I mean, it's almost wherever you feel comfortable. Blake's got speed on the bottom. Connor's got it on the top. And Dino's looking for the lead. Slide job by the 79. Kurt Schatzer trying to look underneath, but the 79 nailed the slide job perfect. Not enough room for the 218 to throw one of his own. Dino, your new leader at the stripe, and Kurt Schatzer, he's got to try to get it together here. He's going to become shark bait to that 35 here. Caution is out on the racetrack at Port Royal once again. 4th caution of the night. Anthony Morano involved. Anthony gets really close to that wall there. Oh, Steve Bixler in the wall in front of him. Oh, Jeff Parker. Another hard one, and man, tough break. Let's go back and see if we can dissect that here a little further. Let's go find Steve Bixler. Try to go in the Chapman Racing drone camera. Yeah, just gets into the wall by himself. I mean, it's starting to slicken up going down the straightaways. You over-accelerate coming out of the corner. What I talked about earlier, you're going to lose that rear end, and stuff like that can happen really fast. Still not at the halfway point yet, as it's a 25-lap feature event. Still have 16 to go. The lead has changed hands. Dean Reynolds to the front, and Jeff Barker, it's been a rough night for him. I think it's a beast. Still on pit road, out of quick repairs. His thoughts at a championship, man, they're pretty much over with how tonight's gone. Tough break for Jeff Barker. Kurt Schatzer, this is where you've really got to race with your head if you're the 218. I mean, Blake's not going to do it to you. That's not how he is. That guy, 2 spots behind you, you have a 20-point lead over him. Finishing right behind him, you still win the title. You got to be smart about this, Kurt. If Blake comes up battling you, you can't risk fencing yourself, or else you might risk losing the championship here. As Dean Reynolds brings us on the outside of 3 and 4. He fires. Good jump for the 79. We're back to green flag at the Speed Palace. Oh, Pat. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Gotta watch what I say here, but man, that didn't look very good. Let's go back and I want to get a look at this before I say anything, but I think I know what I saw. Let's go into that aerial cam. And I mean, okay, so let's be honest. In the beginning, you want me to yell at Isaac here for that, but let's go sit on board here. You can't play favorites in a situation like this, but man, let's go on board here with Blake Chapman. Let's see if he can, when he sees Isaac Salas. This is gonna be the big deal for me. I'm gonna slow it down. Can't see him. All right, you see him. Okay, now this is where love it or hate it. Slide jobs are a part of racing, and we've heard people forget who said it in the high limit. I guess when they threw it on Kyle Larson, can't remember if that was Sanders or not, but you got two pedals. One makes you go, one makes you slow, and it's no surprise here. Blake's one of my favorites, but at this point, you see a guy coming up in front of you throwing that slider, you gotta check out of it. I know the racer in you doesn't want to. You want to go hard on the outside. You're battling for a championship. But man, you can see how fast it'll all go up in smoke if you don't race smart. And it's not saying Blake necessarily did something wrong. He wants to keep his spot. He's running as hard as he can, but when that guy throws the slider on you, we all throw them, and you got to realize that guy's coming up the track. You got to try to counter back for a slide job or crack the throttle. If not, that's going to happen. As we're back to racing, the 79 brings us to the green flag. We're almost halfway. Connor Ross with a rough restart. Kurt Schatz are able to gap him very nicely, and Dean Reynolds the same out front as we're spread out through the field. Go up to the booth, over Straighten, goes around
Yellow flag is out.
in front of Anthony Morano. That's going to probably ruin Morano's car. And we are under caution for the 6th time here at the Speed Palace. Here, let's go find Trent. We need to go back a little further than that. This is probably the last earlier, but we'll watch it and see what happens to Trent. Not going to happen this time coming down the backstretch. You see that front end's a little damaged. Probably wasn't handling up to what he was used to. Coming out of 4, kisses the wall, brings it back up hard into the wall, bikes it up, and man, once you pull that wheelie, it's hard to bring it back down. And all of a sudden, Anthony Morano says, no, nowhere to go, Shaggy. I'm going to drive through it. Thank God for internet lag. Trent Verstraeten not going to help him at all, though. That's going to ruin that 88 tonight. Now, it's really become a war of attrition here. Let's see. I think currently we may only have 10 cars on the lead lap. Dean Reynolds, when we take the green flag, there we go, it'll show. Then it'll move it to 12. Once we actually do take the green flag, it should snap back to 13 here soon, but we will get the halfway point when we take the green flag. Is running out of cars to keep up this nonsense here at Port Royal. 6 cautions so far. Hopefully the boys settle down and we get ourselves a good, clean finish. Roll around here one more time. Should see the pace lights go off this time. Tough break for Blake Chapman. I believe he did have to tow, and I think he ended up going a lap down. So, man, hopefully that's just a SDK error, and it will change when they get the green flag. But if not, that's going to be a wrap for the championship here. As Kurt Schatzer should have this thing locked up, barring, as long as he behaves himself. But Dean Reynolds going through 3 and 4 looks us to bring us to the green flag for the 7th and hopefully final time. 12 laps to go at the Speed Palace. Isaac Salas trying to turn up that battle for P3, but Connor says, man, I'm looking to go by Superman, as Connor stole the cape. That 35 shuts the door on the 218, floats up looking for all that momentum coming off the corner. We got a new guy in P2 as the battle heats up. Patrick Spangler trying to get by this 5. He started in last, right behind the 5 of Isaac Salas. They are both on the move. Isaac Salas. Oh, boy. That 5 drives it in deep into 3 and 4, looking to shut the door on the 218, but Kurt Schatzer looks low. Can he get a run to throw a slider of his own? Not enough room to go up there and close the door as the 5 goes by. Now the Concrete Kid follows him on around in that 39M. Patrick Spangler up to P4. Patrick just following that 5 of Isaac Salas, but he knows he needs to get around him. Trying to duck low, get back in line up high to get a run, Patrick. Isaac Salas loses that wing for a second. It comes back. You gotta love that when drivers get in the wall. Sometimes iRacing can get a little funky here, but right now the front 3 really, nobody seems to have anything for him as Kurt Schatzer dives back low trying to battle Patrick Spangler. Up front, 6 to go. Dean Reynolds, cool, calm, and collected, but caution is out for the 7th time at the Speed Palace. Oh my gosh. I told you the only thing that could happen to this points lead is if Kurt got into trouble. And according to this, that 218 got into a little bit of trouble as he tried to go up and shut the door on Anthony Morano. But there was somebody home in the 218. Oh, vicious flip down the front stretch. Oh, man. Oh, man. Let's watch this from the in-car. Yeah, and that's a case of we'll go back, we'll ride on board here with the Ant-Man. This is a case of where maybe the 32 should crack the throttle, but boy, he's had a tough race. I mean, how many can you keep giving up? He's got a big run here coming on the high side. 218, I mean, yeah, you can see him coming up and shutting the door, but that's just kind of, you're frustrated. You've had a rough night. Guys have been blocking you. You've been involved in a lot of wrecks, but I think he's definitely going to regret getting into the points leader like that. And it's going to end both their nights there. Or Anthony's for sure, because Anthony does not have a quick repair left. Kurt Schatzer, what's it looking like for him here? Kurt Schatzer nowhere to be found on the track. now. Do we have the 1 to green? We do. Superman Kurt Schatzer still not on the racetrack with us, so well, we'll have to see what happens here. Jeff Barker, he's a bunch of laps down. This is a night of, man, what if I didn't give up? But 79 brings us to the green flag. 5 to go as the battle heats up for P2. Isaac Salas looks to the bottom in 1 and 2. The 35 with too big of a run on the outside. Isaac Salas feels the pressure from Patrick Spangler. Isaac tries to go up and throw a slider. Not enough room. Patrick with a big run down the front stretch as he looks to throw a slider of his own. Not able to get up and shut the door as the 35 being to his outside probably had him get on the haunches a little bit. But now the 5 parks it. But Connor Ross with the perfect counter beats him back to the line. 3 to go. Who you got to win this thing? We got 4 under a blanket up front with 2.5 laps left. Patrick Spangler looks to the inside for that final podium spot. Connor goes down there, runs the middle, shuts the door on Patrick. Patrick has to keep it on the bottom. That's really going to hurt him. 2 to go. Isaac with a big run into 1 and 2. Tries to throw the slider. He gets it done. Connor counters back. Who is going to get this thing coming through 3 and 4? White flag ready to fly. We head down the front stretch. White flag in the air. Dino looks to hold on out front, but these guys fighting hard behind him. Patrick Spangler, Isaac Salas, both throw a slide job on Connor Ross. Connor looks to counter back with one of his own here. Gets hard into the outside wall. He goes around. Tough break for the 35. Dino wins. Again, back-to-back races in a wing 360 for Dino. P2 Isaac Salas rounding out that final podium spot, the 39 of Patrick Spangler. Man, Connor went in there. He sent it in there. He really tried to drive it hard until the end, but proved to drive it in there a little too hard. Got into the outside wall, and I didn't miss that. I'm pretty sure we saw Dino. Yeah, look at that thing. I mean, watch this. Just look at Dino here. Oh, the slow-mo replay. Here, Dino getting it done and pulling a wheelie at the starter stand. We'll give these guys a quick minute or two to catch their breath here. We'll go ahead and bring up 39 of Patrick Spangler. Just waiting on these guys to show up, as it looks like here is Patrick Spangler. Patrick just trickled in here. We're going to drag him up. Hey, Patrick, Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy?
Yep, gotcha.
Well, I know you like the practice, but God only knows why you like to make it this hard on yourself, man. But holy crap, did you guys bring us an exciting show at the end? What were those last 5 laps like?
It was insane. I was trying to set up her big slider, but then we were catching Dean somehow doing the slider line. And then Isaac and Connor were throwing big sliders, so we'd go into the turn 3 wide and somehow come out the other side. Yeah, that was pretty intense.
Yeah, we're watching you do one right now, actually. You drive hard into 1 and 2. You want to clearly throw that slider on Isaac, but man, you peek up and you see Connor right up there on the outside. That really threw a wrench into your plans here, man. But that final turn going through 3 and 4, what'd you think of that Hail Mary move by Connor? What was it like getting through that?
I seen Connor. Well, I didn't know what to do because I couldn't throw a slider because I knew Connor was down there and I knew Isaac was going to turn down. So I was going to follow him and just try to cut down sooner and try to get traction on the very bottom of the track. But then I saw Connor fly across the track. No idea where Isaac was, so I just glued her to the inside and tried to hook up in the tacky step down there.
Well, Patrick, you're running my favorite driver's sprint car paint. Not able to get it into victory lane, but man, getting on that podium after starting in the rear of the feature, that's a hell of a drive, Patrick. And with not a lot of long green flag runs here tonight, it's not easy to get it done. So way to stay on the path, get up to that final podium spot. Good run. Who you want to thank?
Just you for the awesome broadcast each week, Rod from the league, Andy Patton for adminning tonight. Training wheels racing. Dad, uncle back home watching. Wife let me race all this time, and Velocity Race Designs for sponsoring us to get this broadcasted.
Well, great job tonight, Patrick. Hopefully you can carry that momentum over here in the 410, my man.
Thanks. Should have the points updated here in a second.
All right. Well, feel free, Patrick. Whenever you update that, just come back up here and tell me that you updated it if you don't mind. And I'll go over to the website.
It's gonna be Blake. It's not. There's nobody. The only thing I haven't done is qualifying points. So Blake won 586 at 560.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, go down there to Blake's Discord. Tell him to come up to the waiting room if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Great run, Patrick.
Thanks.
Now we'll pull up the man who finished in P2 tonight. Old slide job, Isaac Salas. And I'll tell you what, man, when you go back and look at this broadcast, you know darn right you are one of my best friends on this thing. And man, I call it how I see it. I was a little like aghast whenever you threw that slide job, but man, I go and I sit inside of Blake Chapman's car, and I mean, dude, that was a pretty good slider. I mean, that's what you got to do here, kid. You got in front of him, and I mean, he could see you there before you came up and parked. It's a, you know, talk to us a little bit about the moves you got to make. And I know that's not a move you want to make, Isaac, but man, it's almost a move you got to make here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not how I want to race, especially, you know, with how good a relationship I got with Blake. And when those things do happen, I mean, it sucks. Like, it honestly, I actually do feel really bad. I'm glad that I didn't hinder his points championship for sure. But yeah, like the way that you got to run here is, I mean, it's top dominant 9 times out of 10. Like maybe you can.
Well, especially in the fixed.
Especially in the fixed. Yeah. So I mean, if you can get a good run on the bottom on somebody, you almost have to take it. And I actually thought that Blake was going to run the top. If I'm being honest, I was throwing a lot of short sliders, basically to like the edge of 2, to where like kind of make people a little nervous, more so than me clearing them. And yeah, by the time I realized and tried to get out of it a little bit, and I was on him basically. So, like I said, it sucks that it happened. But like I'm glad it didn't hinder too much, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean that's one of those deals where, dude, I mean it's just it's gonna happen. You two are two of the best we have, and I mean when you guys are racing that close, you know that's gonna happen when everybody's going for the same line. And like I say, was it the best slider in the world? Of course not. You know that, but I mean there comes a point. I mean I brought it up on the broadcast. Who said that when Justin Sanders threw that slider on Larson? You know, I get told all the time I got 2 pedals, and you know one slows you down, one makes you go. So when you can see that car throwing the slider, it kind of falls on you to check up there, especially when you're trying to points race. But man, no harm, no foul as far as I'm concerned. Great run here tonight, Isaac. Who you want to thank on that second place?
Yeah, thanks, Zach. It was a lot of fun. I was trying to get through the field like crazy. I mean, after that heat race, I was like, man, this is a missed opportunity. And then some cautions like pretty helped me out. So, but yeah, like big thanks to like the guys over at Venom Racing, Dean, the Super Dirt Car Series. Congrats to Dino on a win. It's always fun to finish second to the boss, but I mean, I'd rather be in front of him, but you know, that's how it is. Magnum Race Designs, Tommy Gun Customs for that pretty sweet looking Sprint, man. I still in love with the white for some reason. I don't know. RSN Trackside, Mission 22, Top Notch Trucking. Thank you for coming on with Shaggy TV. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, she'll be rolled out for the new season, so it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks for the broadcast as well. That's pretty sweet. Thanks Coast to Coast for the season. It's kind of fun to race on a Wednesday night. I haven't been able to make all of them at all, but it's been good to kind of get a couple races in here and there more than I usually would. But yeah, other than that, like thanks to Mom and Dad for watching. I know they're both watching. They were texting me throughout the race, so that was pretty awesome. Thanks to Kelser for the support, and then yeah, just thanks to all my friends and family.
Well, hey man, great job once again. You know you're one of my favorites. You're ever so close to Dean, but you know he's gonna let this one hang over your head here for a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I'll let him slide with this one.
Well, good run, Isaac. Hopefully I talk to you again later, my man.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Zach.
That's P2, Isaac Salas. And now we're going to bring up the man who, Dean, you know, I know it's a little frustrating with all those cautions, but man, Man, every time you drop that hammer on a restart, you really were in your own world. I mean, Connor got to second, couldn't touch you. I mean, he got there pretty early, and Isaac was able to battle with Connor, but even then not separate Dean. I said it before the show started, and I told you it last night. Man, I don't know what's up with you in these wings, dude, but 2 in a row. Hell of a job tonight.
Thanks, man. That was a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, I don't look in my mirror, and I heard engines left, right. So I had a feeling that Connor and Isaac were sliding each other because I know how they race. And sure as enough, when Isaac got done, he said, "Yeah, we're having a slider battle." And I actually got a little conservative on that last restart, thinking that's what they were going to do. So I looked at my relative going into turn 1, and I knew I had a good start again. And I said, "Okay, don't hit the wall. But I might have been a little too conservative, but yeah, we brought her home, and we're just fortunate, just getting in a little bit of a good groove, and with the sprint cars, and even with her full sets or fixed sets, just seem to get in a comfortable groove here. And I don't know, I don't know why. Maybe it's the new wheel and pedals. Maybe it's just feeling more comfortable with the sprint cars, and that could be. And I don't think I'm doing anything different, but maybe just getting some confidence, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's half the battle, they say, confidence. And, I mean, dude, you're running smooth. Maybe those last couple laps, you did take a little bit of pace off. But as well as I do, if nobody's within that slider range, man, that's all you need to do here at Port Royal. Just run that outside, be smooth and strong. And, Dino, we saw you pulling wheelies, so we know that thing's got some horsepower in it. And, man, you motored around at the Speed Palace. Hell of a job, Dino. Who you want to thank on the win, my man?
Oh, gotta thank. By the way, did you see the wheelies on the original green? I pulled 2 of them behind Chatzer. I'm like, whoa!
They're definitely on there, yeah.
Oh, I was like, man, it came down the second time, and I go, no, there's turn 1. I got turn left. So, but yeah, I gotta thank the guys from Full Throttle Motorsports. Like I said, great bunch of guys. Too bad Anthony had a tough run, but they're going to be in here, and Clay's in this race now because Clay loves the 410s. Got to thank them. I popped in Venom's Discord tonight because I didn't know if anyone from FTM was going to race. So it was good to hang with the old buddies again with Trent and Dan and Isaac and, just BSing with those guys. So thanks to Venom. Got to thank Ross Velocity Race Design. I ran a VRD pace job in the first race. I'm going to run another one in this race here. So I got to thank him for doing the league, and, by him sponsoring the league. Shaggy's doing the telecast, which that's so cool. So I got to thank them. Spangler, I know he starts last and he comes up through, but man, I'll if I can still beat him before he gets there, I'll take it. It's Patrick is somebody to look at, and what's cool about him is he helps you out. Patrick's helped me out, and that's another reason why I'm faster in sprints is because Patrick is mentoring me a little bit and telling me different things, and he sends me YouTube videos sometimes of lanes he runs and says, "Here, try this," and that's a class act right there. You're competing against him, and yet he's trying to help you, so that's real good. Gotta say congratulations to Blake Chapman for the championship. I mean, that dude, he won Renegades. Now he's won the 360 Hometown Heroes. He's going to go for 410. That's a lot of Galens. I think he needs to spread the wealth with that. He's going to say codename CART, C-A-R-T, for 15% off their delicious popcorn. So, but he earned it. So congratulations to them. We're going to give it a shot at 410, Shaggy. Megan was watching. I'm glad she got to watch that. Hopefully my dad got to watch that. And let's see if we keep it going and hopefully get in the podium, and I'll talk to you again.
Well, tell her, man, if you finish in this top 3 in the 410, she better be wearing the appropriate clothing when you're done with your interview. That's a hell of a night.
She's supposed to be over tonight. Tonight is Wednesday, but she wasn't feeling good, so we're going to postpone it till Friday night. We're actually going to go to the races together and stuff. And but she was watching. She was the first text that said that was a great race. She was probably watching Isaac and Connor instead of me, but but that's okay. Isaac is probably cuter than I am. He's cute as a button, and Connor's got a big set because he always runs the top. So, I understand the attraction. So we're all good.
Well, hell of a job, Dino. Can't wait to talk to you again after this 410, man. Go get him.
All right, Shaggy. Thanks so much, and go talk to Blake. He earned it.
Yep, amen. As we're going to get ready to bring up the points champion, and I know, Blake, maybe not the way you wanted to win the title, but, one of those things, you got to take it how you can get it, and you plugged away, stayed on the track tonight. You knew you didn't have any more drop weeks, and, kid, that's what it took. Hell of a job. Perseverance, man. How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. A title's a title, whether it's pretty on the last night or not. I figured I was pretty much done for after that incident there. But we
So
just
did I.
stayed on
When
the-
you go back and watch it, so did I.
Yeah, we got back on the track a lap down, but I saw with about 5 or 6 to go, I saw Kurt flying through the air, and I knew he was about probably the only one that was close enough to catch me points wise. So that made me feel a little bit better to finish off those last 5 laps, pretty much knowing I had the championship wrapped up.
Well, Blake, if I'm not mistaken here, you're going for a double tonight, aren't you? You stand a chance here in the 410s as well, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to have a shot at all coming into the season. I think I missed 3 weeks of the 360s, and the 410s got rained out one of those weeks. So I missed 2 of the 410s as well, but I think we're leading points in that by a pretty good margin, I think. So hopefully we can run a little bit better than we did in these 360s and come away with another title.
Well, kid, you did a great job tonight, man. And those sliders are a tough thing to deal with. Got caught on the wrong end of one tonight, but you kept at it, and man, you got another one here. Congratulations, kid. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, first I got to thank Ross at Velocity Race Designs for making this broadcast possible by putting up the money. Can't thank him enough. I got to thank the family for watching and all the guys down at KSR. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Also got to thank Andy for adminning all season long. He's done a great job. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff in the country. You can go online and order some of their very delicious popcorn. And don't forget to use code CART, that's CART, at checkout for 15% off. And of course, I got to thank my long lost cousin. That's you up in the booth, Shaggy.
Well, hey, I appreciate that, Blake. And I mean what I say. You got to talk to those owners. Terry won one last night for you guys. Man, you got 3 trophies. You guys need a trophy case over there at Galen's.
Yeah, I think so. I think that looked good right in the Galen's shop.
Amen. Well, great job, Blake. And don't want to jinx you, man, but good luck here in the next one. You're probably looking at another one.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks.
And that's your points winner, Blake Chapman. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network as those guys are already in the 410s. I let interviews go on a little long, so might cut the break a little short here, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Stick around. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
dollars.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Only a little bit over a minute left here in practices. Those interviews for championship night ran a little long. I'd like to see we get a better view of this man. Huge shout out. I had no idea he was even going to be here tonight. This man has had, well, you know, if you're going to say him, first off, his daughter, what a warrior. Daughter, they found a mass on her brain, required surgery, and, well, she got checked out, got to come home tonight, and how cool. I believe her name's Cassie. Sorry, John, if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain that's what it is. And, you know, we're definitely huge shout out. You know, we're all rooting for the Hind family right now with what you're going through. It's awesome to see that 71 back out on the track. Anthony Morano right now, the only one in this session actually on the track. Let's see if Blake Chapman is actually as well. The only one on the track in his session is probably the rightful and soon-to-be points champion here. Gonna pull off, get ready for qualifying, as qualifying is going to be underway in a little over 5 seconds here. You're seeing that countdown. iRacing will transfer over sessions, and we will hop into qualifying. A little longer than iRacing normally takes. There we go. Advancing over into qualifying. If you're out there in the Coast to Coast Racing universe watching us tonight, let us know in the chat box who you're rooting for. So far, Blake Chapman took the 360 fixed points. Probably going to take the 410s here, but we'll have to see. Did they skip? Was there no qualifying? Did I miss qualifying? Okay, so we did actually, as you see there, I went into iRacing. I think maybe an accident advance, or they just wanted a random draw tonight. Not too sure, but no qualifying times for anyone here. So let's get ready to bring you up that starting grid for heat race number 1. So luck of the draw here tonight. Starting on the pole, Brian Moore Sr. and is outside Clay Christopherson inside of row number 2. Blake Chapman and is outside Patrick Spangler. Rounding out the field, Pat Boyce, Patrick Spangler, and Pat Boyce did not make the call. So small field in Gambler Motorsports heat race number 1. Once again, most of the guys, you know, thanked them. Once again, huge shout out to Velocity Race Designs this year. Picking up the sponsorship here in Hometown Heroes. Not sure if Clay Christopherson lagged out, but we do not see him right now. We only see Brian Moore Sr. and Blake Chapman, so there is a good chance we have a 2-car battle here. Brian Moore Sr., yeah, give us a show, brother. Do something here. We got 2 cars on the track.
Hey, Mr. Shaggy.
Hey, what's up?
So a little iRacing insider here.
Yeah, I saw Andy advanced. I brought up the cheat sheet.
Yeah, little iRacing insider. We're gonna
hey, it makes
do
it
a
all
new.
the more fun. Makes it all the more fun.
Perfect.
As far as I'm concerned, they should do it every other week. You know, when I grew up racing in dirt, it was a pill draw. It was all lucky.
Yeah. So I'm glad you seen that we're doing a new session then.
Yeah,
Green flag, green flag.
Yeah, the green
Perfect.
flag's underway here. Heat race number 1. We got 2 guys. They both pull wheelies, and I think Blake Chapman just wrecked here. Oh, man. Brian, he's on his side. Brian Moore Sr., if nobody pulls out of the pits here, he is going to get to do 6 laps of practice all by himself here in heat race number 1. He's going to slow down. Please don't back out of that car, Brian. Oh, no. We could be sitting here for a while. Oh, no. Yeah, this is, oh, I hurt my foot earlier this week. Don't have a lot of plans this weekend. I can't really go golfing because I've got a sore foot here. Hopefully that made heat race number 1 come to an end. I don't know what else I can talk about. I'm very excited for the NFL season coming up. Huge, man, it hurts to call them the Commanders. I'm a huge Redskins fan. Cannot wait for football to come up. Anybody out there in the chat box, please help me. Say anything. Give us a talking point. What are you like? What are your guys's? Or no. Let's keep it iRacing here. Who is your favorite iRacing driver? Now, to me, I don't even know his real name, but it's been a guy who I've been following on YouTube a lot. If you have any trouble ever with, running asphalt or anything, a guy named DJ Yee J on YouTube does excellent iRacing documentaries. Oh, I don't know who Toxic Texan is, but go Cowboys. God, that makes me want to cut the stream off. That really hurts me to hear that. I think we have Andy Patton up here. What's up, Andy?
I do. Hey, bro. I just wanted to let you know that we are going to do a new session here for qualifying.
Oh, okay. We're gonna make a new room.
Yeah. Apparently, I hit the button and it was 0 at the same time, and it went right to heats. It went right over qualifying. So.
All right, that works for me. You hear the man Andy. So we're gonna cut this stream off real quick, throw it to the commercials. And then I'll be right back with your racing action in the new session. So give us a couple minutes here. We'll be right back. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses of man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. Here come the Extreme Speed TV Coast to Coast Racing League Sprint Cars in the Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville National. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Race, drive, green flag, showtime, the Knoxville Nationals underway.
The Coast to Coast Racing League, in partnership with the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame,
Dylan Westbrook Racing, and Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding are proud to present the 5th annual Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville Nationals for the Steve King Foundation. July 22nd to July 25th. 4 days of Knoxville action using the actual Knoxville National scoring system. Over $2,200 in payouts and prizes. $15 for Coast to Coast members, $20 for non-Coast to Coast members with a max I rating of 3,000.
As we have gotten all the issues out of the way here, shouldn't advance through qualifying this time. We're back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, and just got off the phone with the admin here, and we should be rolling into qualifying any minute now. Joseph Grandy's got that 518 singing a song right now in this 410. Bad luck in the 360s, missed qualifying, wrecked in the heat, wrecked in the feature. So Joseph Grandy, he is out here trying to prove something in the final feature of the 410s here this evening. Got the mayor, Stephen Bixler, shopping around in the basement right now. Samuel Bachman, Dan McLaren, Blake Christopherson down there on the inside letting them go by as he gets on the loud pedal. See who else we got out here pulling out on the track. The Bassman getting out here in the 747. There's the 75 all over the back of the Bassman here. We're having a little fun racing each other. Lee Christopherson hard into the outside wall. Gonna go end over end. See here what these other practice rooms look like. Nobody on the track in John Hines' practice room. Let's go over here to Blake's. We've got Rick Main on the track right now. Look at him. I believe that's Brad Wade and Logan Wentz. All three of the guys in this session on the room. Are in the room right now, all racing side by side. Brad waiting that 814. Logan Wentz in the 118. Logan Wentz just not really gaining or losing here on the 814 of Brad Wade, which is an interesting thing to see right now. There he's going to lose a little bit of time getting squirrely coming out of the corner, but this 410, you got enough motor. I mean, there are guys in real life. I love watching races here on Saturday night on Flow. If you have Flow Racing, they're here every Saturday night at Port Royal, and man, you just see all the lines, depending on track conditions. You really can get them to work. You can hook that inside bottom, ride the brake going in, keep yourself next to that inside wall, and really loud pedal your way off the corner. Or you can just go in there and sing a song the whole way through and hang them out the window and hold on, because it is a wild ride around the outside here of the Speed Palace. Right now, first car gonna complete a lap here, I believe is Bob DeGood. Let's click over to the 7. Bob DeGood comes to the green flag. Keep an eye on the bottom of the screen. Purple fastest out of anyone. Green, their best purple. Green is their best sector. And yellow, well, that's worse than even their personal best. You don't want any yellow. As who do we have on top right now? The Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker on the top after one lap around. 100 grand. Joseph Grandy moves into P2. Dan McLaren right now P3, but let's keep an eye. Jeff Barker, purple sector 1. And Jeff Barker adds to that time a 16:23 in the 5:13. Blake Chapman coming around on lap number 2, purple through sector 1. Can he find good time in 3 and 4? Quick time for the 20 of Blake Chapman. 16:04 for the kid by over a 1/10 of a second. Blake Chapman came to play tonight and wants to bring home another title here in the Coast to Coast Racing League. Everyone has put their times in. Top 5, Blake Chapman, Jeff Barker, Joseph Grandy, Rick Main, and Dan McLaren. Definitely worth the wait here. The swap over and Sessions get a good qualifying run in. And now, anxious to see here, Brian Moore. He would have started on the pole for heat race number 1. Now we'll have to see who got the new one. And it's the professor in the 71, John Hines, starting on the pole. And it is outside the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Inside of row number 2, the 187 of Rick Main. Into his outside, the salesman in the 20, Blake Chapman. Samuel Bachman rolls off on the inside of row number 3, and rounding out the field this evening, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Here, as I mentioned in that earlier session, good to have John back here with his racing family, as he's had a tough time in the real world, but glad to hear his daughter is on the road to recovery here, back out of the hospital today, and that means the 71's back out on the track tonight. As we roll through 3 and 4, the 71 waits for that green flag to fly.
Green flag.
And he's got the 20 on his outside, looking high as we go racing. Rick Main looking to get a good run here on the bottom under the 20 of Blake Chapman. But Blake Chapman with a good run off his John Hines shuts the door. The salesman shoots to the bottom of 3 and 4. Blake Chapman out front in that 20 machine, making quick work. And that 187 of Rick Main follows him right by. Can Rick keep up with the young gun? Your points leader is in the lead with 4 to go. Battle on for P3. Anthony Morano coming up to the back of the 71 of John Hine. John Hine doing what he can to hold him off here now, but that 32 looks to be smooth up there on the high side. Just a long way around right now in 3 and 4. We're going up front to Blake Chapman. You can see on the bottom of the track there's just too much grip right now to float the whole way against the outside, and that is where the fast guys are right now as John Hine falls and line down on the bottom. Anthony Morano with a big run out. Tries the counter as he touches John. John gets in the wall. John loses P3 to Anthony Morano. Now falls in the sights of Samuel Bachman as Blake Chapman comes out of 3 and 4. White flag in the air. Final time around. The salesman, Blake Chapman, just won a 360 championship. Wants to win a 410 championship. And he's doing it in style. Gonna start on the front row for tonight's feature event here in the Velocity Race Designs 410 Hometown Heroes feature event, followed by Rick Main, Anthony Morano, Sam Bachman, Patrick Spangler, and John Hine. As Blake Chapman will start on the front row for tonight's feature. Everybody is going to make the show tonight as we don't have more than 24 cars. As we get ready to look up the starting grid here for heat race number 2, and it looks a little something like this. Starting on the pole, the 7 of Bob the Good into his outside in the 814 Brad Waite. Inside of row number 2, the soupy Dan McLaren in the 88 into his outside in the 513, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Parker. Rounding out the field in row number 3, we have the 41 of Pat Boyce into his outside, the Mayor Steven Bixler. As the 88 of Dan McLaren looks to bring us to the green flag, Bob DeGood in the 7. Not sure if it was an EOL or if he just asked for an end of line, but either way it moves up the inside row, and now Dan McLaren will look to bring us to the green flag. As we roll through 3 and 4, that green flag is high. And boy, is she ready to fly.
Green flag, green flag.
As Dan McLaren brings us to the green flag. Oh, look at the race in here for third place. As the Brewerton Beast goes to the bottom here. He looks under Pat Boyce. He goes around. Jeff Barker up the P2 in that 513. Has a lot of speed early. But bye-bye out front, soupy Dan McLaren. He is off. He lit that fuse, and boy, that rocket is gone. Brad Waite trying to look under that 41 of Pat Boyce, but right now, not having any luck in that 814 is Pat Boyce. Just too smooth in the center of the corner for him to get around. Brad Waite sideways coming off the corner, and now Steven Bixler comes with a big head of steam as the 7 of Bob the Good stuck behind him. Jeff Barker not able to pull any closer here to Dan McLaren as we go through turns 3 and 4. We have 2 more laps around here at the Speed Palace. Pat Boyce doing his best to hold off Brad Waite as Brad Waite has reeled him back in as we go through 3 and 4. The flagman reaches into the little holder there and pulls out the white flag one more time around. Dan McLaren has hit his marks since the opening lap. Started first, gonna finish there as he comes out of turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag in the air. Dan McLaren is your heat race number 2 winner, followed by Jeff Barker, Pat Boyce, Brad Waite, Bob DeGood, and Steven Bixler. What a great heat race number 2 there, sponsored by Regency Home Inspections. And heat race number 3 brought to you by Maurer Farm Management. Gonna look a little something like this. Starting on the pole, the 558 of Brian Moore Sr. into his outside in the 051, Clay Christopherson. Inside of row number 2, the 79 of Dean Reynolds into his outside, old 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Rounding out the field tonight in row number 3, we have the 118 of Logan Wentz, and his outside, the Bassman Roger Craig. As Dino gives us a little wheelie again, I clicked on him for a reason. He does not disappoint. Give him a little power, and he will lift those front tires off the ground. As the Steve King Foundation pace truck is off the racing service, we will get ready to go green. As the green flag is high and it's ready to fly. Brian Moore being as patient as he can, wanting to drop the hammer. Let's see it waving. We're underway at the Speed Palace. Dino with a great jump on the bottom, able to move up to that top shelf right away. Looking on the outside already. We got a three-way battle for the lead. Clay Christopherson on the bottom. 100 grand goes around, able to save it, but look at the battle for the lead. Clay Christopherson, your leader after lap number 1. Dean Reynolds makes the move for P2. Ryan Moore Sr. trying to counter back going into 3 and 4. Dean Reynolds is going to pinch him down. They're 3 wide through 3 and 4. Dino trying to hold on to it as we've got 4 to go. Look, you could put those top 3 under a blanket. Let's watch them go down the backstretch. Ryan Moore Sr. with an excellent run there on the bottom. Going down the backstretch. Must be a lot of attack. That 558 not giving up just yet as he tries one more time going into turn 1. Out of turn 2, Dean Reynolds with a big run, but they're wrecking to the back. Logan Wentz hard into the inside wall. Clay Christopherson doesn't have time to look in that rearview mirror. 2 more laps to go, and that 79 is getting a lot bigger. Lap and a half to go here. They both roll the middle through 3 and 4. White flag in the air, and it's waving one more time around. Can Dean Reynolds throw a big Hail Mary here on the white flag lap? He gets a good run out of 2. You see that gap really closing down. Does Dean throw it in there? No, he's going to drive up top. Clay Christopherson, can he shut the door? Coming down the front stretch, Clay Christopherson is your heat race number 3 winner, followed by Dean Reynolds, Brian Moore Sr., Joseph Grandy, Roger Craig, and Logan Wentz. That's a big win there for Clay Christopherson. Goes from 3rd to 1st there in 3 and 4. Making that 2-for-1 pass and able to hold on as we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. And we will be right back with a little bit of warm-ups in your feature after this. Stick around. As we are back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. A little bit over a minute left here in warm-ups as Joseph Grandy's at the top of the charts right now, but we're going to almost even lap there. Dean Reynolds, you see, even down to the 100th of a second, but now the Ant-Man, he says, slow down, Shaggy, I'll take that over. Anthony Morano, rocket ship right now on the outside, and he's got that 39 of Patrick Spangler right behind him. Blake Chapman moves to the top, and Patrick Spangler trounces that lap time by 0.2 of a second. Man, the 39 came to play. But right now, it would take a miracle for this guy not to win the championship. Blake Chapman is 25 laps away from his 3rd championship this summer in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and he's one of the best we got. And man, he's shown you fans night in and night out why. Very consistent as there he gets into Logan Wentz a little bit and warm-ups on the roof, but that shouldn't be an omen of that 20 cars night. He's going to have a lot of speed. It's 25 laps here at the Speed Palace. Let's get ready to show you the starting grid. Starting on the pole, Blake Chapman, the salesman, into his outside in the 88 Soupy Dan McLaren. Inside of row number 2, the 051 of Clay Christopherson. And to his outside, the Maine, Rick Maine in the 187. Inside of row number 3, the 513, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. And to his outside, Old Wheelie. You see the cameras on him. Dean Reynolds. Inside of row number 4, we have the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. And to his outside in the 41, Pat Boyce. Inside of row number 5, we got the 558 of Brian Moore Sr. And to his outside in the 107, Sam Bachman. Inside of row number 6, the 814 of Brad Waite. And his outside, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Inside of row number 7, the 39 of Patrick Spengler. And his outside, Bob DeGood. Rounding out the field, Roger Craig, John Hine, Steve Bixler, Logan Wentz. Pace cars off. We're getting ready to go racing at the Speed Palace. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. We're going to get ready to play in the clay at Port Royal Speedway. Dan McLaren leads us to the, Blake Chapman leads us to the green flag. Blake Chapman already out to a big run there. The 051 of Clay Christopherson doesn't want to let that leash go too far. He's got to get around Dan, try to look around. Contact in the back. Brad Waite in the inside wall. Patrick Spangler trying to find a way around that through the middle, 3 wide through 1 and 2. Brad Waite off the pace on the bottom. But Bob DeGood putting a good fight on that 39. As the 39 looks to the inside of the Professor gets a little freaked out from the 558 of Brian Moore Sr. Dean Reynolds right now running in that 5th spot, and behind him he's got the Ant-Man Anthony Morano, and Anthony's feeling the pressure from Jeff Barker right now. Jeff Barker peaking low here going into 1. The 513 trying to get a good run off the corner on the bottom, but just doesn't have that speed. See, touches 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Joseph Grandy back into the wall. Gets contact there from Logan Samuel Bachman, I believe. Oh, big wreck here at the Speed Palace. Let's see if we can go up to the Chapman Racing drone camera here. Keep an eye on Sam Bachman. He's got that white lid here. It's red and white. You see 2 cars in the wall in front of him. Contact with Pat Boyce there. Then gets into Joseph Grandy. Comes down. John Hine gets into him. Escapes with hopefully not a lot of damage. But Brian Moore Sr. hard. And Brad Waite involved heavily. Tough break for those 3. Sorry, lost my controls there for a second as we go back live. Blake Chapman, the pole sitter, still out front. Clay Christopherson was able to get around Dan McLaren early for P2, but has not been able to reel in the salesman at all, as Blake Chapman right now, 4 wins this season, looking for win number 5 to go along with that big points championship. Lights are still on the pace car, so we won't be going green this time by. As right now, Patrick Spangler, he's only going to be credited with going up 4 spots, but we know he started in the back there for that feature. Likes those EOLs. So. Good run for Patrick up to 9th. Would have started this thing in 18th, so. Good run for the high side banger so far. John Hine right behind him, up 6 spots as well. Started 16th up to 10th. So the Professor, after a tough heat race, is on the move here in the feature. As the field doubles up, we get ready to go green this time by. Steve King Foundation pace truck will wheel itself in here going down the back stretch, and Blake Chapman, anytime after this orange stripe here in the middle of 3 and 4, it's good for him to fire. So we're waiting on that 20 of Blake Chapman, and we'll be back underway here in Port Royal, PA. As Blake really making him wait. I like that strategy. Good jump for the 20.
The yellow flag is out.
This caution is out. That did not take long. There are going to be a lot of guys involved in this, but I think Anthony Morano, one of them. We're going to go back to the green flag here. We'll try to dissect this, see what happens. Keep an eye on Anthony's in that. So Rick Main, you see, pulled a wheelie, lifted. Anthony gets into the back of him, pulls a wheelie. Joseph Grandy gets into the back of him. It's literally, I mean, nothing anyone could do. John Hine involved heavily. He's gonna 100% need to go in and use a quick repair after that. It's a tough break. Go back, just watch. Rick Main, you see, just pulls that wheelie. He's got to get off of it. And Joseph Grandy, nothing he could do. Everything happens so fast at the Speed Palace. As we try to find our leader here on the grid. There we go. Blake Chapman still out front. Dan McLaren was able to get back in front of the 051 of Clay Christopherson. So Clay is going to have to work hard to get that one back. As John Hine came down pit road. He's on his way out in the 71. The Speed Palace has not been good to us tonight with the caution bugs. I mean, you get people trying to get every ounce they can here on championship night, add in the speed. And, that can be a recipe for disaster, as we have seen. As we get ready to go back to the green flag, take a look in the bottom right of your screen. We're going to give you a Blake Chapman's mile per hour here. As he gets ready to bring us back. So you see how fast they really do get in the 410s. Look at that, up over to 120 at the starter stand. I mean, that quick. They roll here. Look at that, 135 almost before he starts to lift. Slows her down to about 81. That's the slowest he's going, right back on it. Dean Reynolds coming around the outside in the 79, looking for V2. He's got it. He made that look easy. Went up there and took the 88's lunch money. And we're going to have 17 to go. So if Dean Reynolds has anything, boy, you got to unleash the horses. As that 20 is rolling around on the bottom right now, nobody touching him. Patrick Spangler on the move in that 39. He's down there where Blake Chapman's finding some success. And, man, it's working out for that 39 as well. He's up to that final podium spot, the 39 of the high side banger. He came to drive tonight. Soupy says, Shaggy, man, I'm coming back for a little more. I'm going to try to make him work for it. The 39's got a counter low. He's going to get him back at the line. Right back to that top shelf. Patrick Spangler goes. Not sure if he knows that Blake Chapman is committed to that bottom. I think, yeah, now that he got a good view of Blake, got to see him go down to the bottom in 3 and 4, we're going to see Patrick Spangler mimic that 20 a little bit. Tightens up a little bit in the center, has to float up to the cushion. Right now, battle on Logan Wentz trying to make his way past the 518 of Joseph Grandy. They're side by side in front of him. Bob the Good, Jeff Parker. Grandy with a huge run off the top shelf. Looks to get by both of them. What a move by the 518. Joseph Grandy coming like a bat out of hell out of 4. Got by both of them before it was in the middle of 1 and 2. Rick Main trying to work on the 88. The Main trying to run the middle. Soupy gets a little sideways coming out of the corner. Rick does as well going down the straightaway, but carries enough. Gonna throw the big time slider on the 88. Dan McLaren just can't find grip right now no matter where he goes on the track. Really struggling to suck that rear end down to the ground. Dean Reynolds. Oh, caution is out, and this might be what the high side banger Patrick Spangler needed as the mare Steven Bixler brings out caution number 3. Gets help there. Gets some big time help from Samuel Bachman, and the mare, Steve Bixler, that's going to be all she wrote for him. Let's go back. Let's watch that one more time. I mean, stay in the onboard. Just run in the middle. He just gets sent. Nothing the mare could do about that. Tough break. Man, I'd like to see that heart rate monitor. That's 79 right now. He's literally in the best of the best C2C sandwich right now. I mean, you got the salesman up front, you got the high side banger behind him, and Dino, man, what's it going to take for you to realize you belong with these guys? I mean, you drove your way up here, you got a hot rod right now. Let's see what you got here on this restart. I think he's going to give Patrick Spangler all that he can handle. But right now, Blake Chapman, he's just so smooth on the bottom that nobody else can really run that bottom how he is. That's the advantage here, especially in the opening turn 1 and 2. He goes right down to that bottom, gets a lot of tack. It's that thing to hook up, whereas most of the rest of the field's going up to the high side right away, trying to wind it up. And you're just not up to speed right away if you can get that thing to hook up in the bottom of 1 and 2 and find a way to float up out of the corner. That is the preferred line.
Hang on.
100% just because it's the shorter way around. As you hear, we're going to extend caution one more time. Not too sure why, but we will go around one more time. We got coming up on, we'll have 10 to go in the restart. If you're out there watching, let us know who you got. You got the salesman. You got Dino. Do you have the high side banger Patrick Spangler, or are you going out on a limb there and taking that guy P4 right now, Rick Main? That one's going to be a stretch to convince me of that one, but you may be able to slide me in either direction here. The top 3 is one mistake by Blake. That 79's been smooth and steady. He could roll right around. And well, Patrick hasn't had a chance to really race up front here all evening. He likes starting in the back in Hometown Heroes, likes making it hard on himself. So by the time he got up there battling for the podium in the 360s, it was too little too late. Couldn't run down Dino. Now he's got Dino right in his sights as we roll through 3 and 4. Blake Chapman brings us back to the green flag.
Green, green, green.
10 to go at the Speed Palace. What a jump for the salesman, Blake Chapman, as we come up here. Let's watch them all roll through 3 and 4. Patrick right to the top shelf, Dino to the top shelf, and Blake, like I said, stays on the bottom, hooks up. Look at that drive he got going down the backstretch. He walked away. Patrick Spangler on the inside of Dino. He gets him at the line. Dino's got to go back up top and try to learn a little bit here from this 39. Try to see if he can stay in tow, because he's got a quick hot rod behind him in that 518. Joseph Grandy had a lot of trouble here tonight with the wing, and man, he's finally got it all together. Patrick Spangler just doesn't have the speed that 20 has right now. Was able to get to P2, but not really able to extend his gap to Dino. As soon as I say that, Dino in the wall here 7 more times around. John Hine right now up 7 spots, trying to look to the outside of Logan Wentz. or excuse me, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Parker. Logan Wentz, that car up in front of him, and he's trying to run down Dan McLaren in the 88. Oh, contact.
The yellow flag is out.
Quit getting so excited. My mic likes cutting off when I get excited. I yell. It goes doo-doo, doo-doo. Not sure what it sounds like to you guys, but it's a very sad moment for me. Let's watch what happened here coming out of 4. John's got a big head of steam on the top shelf. And, I mean, you know, that's not on John. I mean, Logan left that lane open and then decides to, you know, kind of float up. I know John is a little sideways here. Let's rewind. But, you know, I mean, Logan there, he's running the middle. He starts to straighten it up and come up. And, I mean, you do got to kind of keep that lane open if that's the move you made, especially with the power these 410s have coming off the corner. That's how quick that lane can get filled. And, well, Logan Wentz ends up on the roof. Patrick Spangler, and arguably the best chance here for him. Doesn't have to fight Dino right away. Can try to hook that fishing rod onto the back of the 20 and just stay with him. But right now, Blake Chapman showing why he's going to walk away tonight with that other trophy. Blake Chapman, man, he has been a man amongst boys here in these 410s. Let's see if we get the lights off this time. I think we should. No, lights are going to stay on, so not going green just yet. It's Blake Chapman. It's going to have 5 more times around when we get this green flag. Anthony Morano still sitting in the pits. Not sure if he's going to be able to make it back out. I would be shocked here if we didn't get the lights off the pace truck here this time. As lights are off, we'll be going back green. High side banger, Patrick Spangler. Right behind Blake. We'll have to see if he can keep it this distance, as Blake has just hit his marks. Every restart, every corner. The kid has been all but perfect here this evening. And, well, Patrick, if you want to win this one, you gotta beat the champ. As we roll through 3 and 4, Blake looks to bring us to that green flag. Gets a good jump coming out of 4.
Green flag, green
Patrick
flag.
Spangler caught sleeping a little bit in that 39. Dino looks to the bottom, trying to take P2 back. What kind of run can he get coming off of 2? Not good enough as Dino. Caution is out once again. See who we got here. Let's find Brian Moore Sr. I'll try to see if we can track what happened here. This Brian right now is running that bottom. I mean, he just gets turned by the 814 here on the restart. Not going to be happy. Pat Boyce, nowhere to go, slams into him. And, well, that's going to happen when you get into the car in front of you on dirt going 80 mile an hour. So it's not something you can really expect a different result there. shirt Brian Moore. Definitely smoke coming out of those ears under that helmet right now in that 558. Not too sure if, I believe we may have looked at that replay pretty quick here, which may mean we have a whole nother lap to go around again. Keep an eye on this pace truck. Those lights do click off, so we are going to go green this time by. If you're still with us, thanks for sticking around. Been a long night here with caution, so we appreciate you sticking around until the end.
Hang on, we're not going green. Not going green.
This year, we're gonna go around one more time. Tell you what, though, that kid out front, he's been all but perfect. He can't wait to end this dang thing here and add another trophy to the shelf. As the only thing keeping him from another title right now is another caution flag. It doesn't seem like anybody's got anything for the 20 right now. Patrick Spangler, he gets another chance here on a restart. But man, to be honest with you, he's already had a couple of them. I don't have much faith in anyone right now other than that 20. As the Steve King Foundation pace truck is driving right at us there. Hopefully he turns, doesn't hit our cameraman. There we go. And Blake Chapman brings us through 3 and 4 for hopefully the final restart of the night here at the Speed Palace. As we're going to have 4 to go. Good jump by the 20 of Blake Chapman. Much better restart this time for Patrick Spangler. Patrick Spangler goes right to that top shelf trying to get a big run, but Blake Chapman so fast down there on the bottom right now. Doing it his own way. Is Patrick Spangler, you got 3 more laps, man. You're hanging with him. Do you got anything? Battle on for P3 as 100 grand slides around Dean Reynolds. Does Dean have a chance to come back here as they roll out of 3 and 4? 2 laps to go at the Speed Palace. Patrick Spangler trying to beat down that wall in 1 and 2, trying to find every ounce of grip up there against the wall, but it's not going to matter. Blake Chapman is so fast on the bottom as the white flag flies one more time around. Blake Chapman, he has been perfect. He won a 360 championship, and now he's going to bring home a 410 title. Can't wait to hear about some popcorn. The Galen salesman does it again. Blake Chapman wins the 410 Velocity Race Design feature finale of the year, along with bringing home the hardware. Following him, the high side banger Patrick Spangler and Joseph Grandy, that 3rd and final podium spot. Here's as soon as we can, we will show you the final results here of the evening. There they come. Dean Reynolds 4th, Rick Mayne 5th, John Hine up to 6th. Great run for the Professor. Dan McLaren the 7th, Samuel Bachman 8th, the Brewerton Beast 9th, and Clay Christopherson rounding out the top 10. Here's the rest of the field. Bob the Good, Roger Craig, Steve Bixler, Brad Waite, Anthony Morano, Brian Moore Sr., Pat Boyce, and Logan Wentz. As Blake Chapman gets it done again, he's going to bring home another championship, is the salesman. We're going to give these guys a minute or two to get up to the waiting room. I see Patrick Spangler's there. Actually, Joseph just made his way on up, so let's go ahead and let's bring up the man who finished P3 here this evening. Well, Joe, you know, you had quite an eventful night. You looked fast in the 360s, but you know, just bad luck. I mean, let's call it what it is. Not anything of your own doing. And, you know, 410, little bad luck there in the heat as well. So it looked like, man, you were going to have a rough night. But, dude, you put it all together in the feature, and, man, you almost had P2. Talk to us about that finish.
Yeah, well, I ended up getting into a little scuffle there mid-race, so I think I burnt up my tires, running through the field there. So towards the end, I don't think I really could have caught up to him, but I was pacing him, but I couldn't catch him.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure how much of a view you had of it as he was checking out there, but really the only guy to make it work. You know, did you flirt with that bottom at all tonight? I mean, it seemed like Blake had a lot of speed down there.
No, everybody was running mid-bottom, so I figured, well, the only way I can get around these guys is to hit the top, and it happened to stick that one time, and I just flew around everybody till I got to about fourth, and then kind of came to a standstill there.
Well, hey, Joe, man, you drove the wheels off that thing tonight. You really had to work for P3, and good way to cap off a rough night, man. Who you want to thank?
Catalytic Recovery, West End Towing Repair, Highline Photography, all the guys at Inferno Motorsports, my girlfriend Olivia, Coast to Coast, all the guys behind the scenes, and appreciate you, man, for doing the broadcast.
Well, you guys make it easy, man, when you put on a good show like that. Way to drive through the field. Hell of a job tonight, man.
Thanks.
That's Blake, excuse me. Joseph Crandy, your P3 finisher, and now we're going to bring up the man who, man, he loves to make it hard on himself, but I think if he's going to be honest tonight, I don't know if anybody had anything for Blake. Patrick, man, what could you have done different? That kid was in a rocket.
Yeah, he was. I like the top of 1 and 2 and the bottom 3 and 4, but I was having trouble with that transition, switch from top to bottom. I noticed like before the last caution, like he was pulling low sevens, I was pulling high 6.9. So, I mean, they were pretty equal, but I had the power restrictor limited my motor pretty good, so my car was not taking off very good off the restarts. But long green flag run maybe, but he was in another league down there.
Okay, so Patrick, well, you just ratted yourself out here and opened up a question to idiots like me who have no idea, you know, and don't even think about that. But how often when you hop in these 410s, is that something that somebody like me, not good at these, should that be a first thought here? You hop in that 410, limit the power a little bit. What's normally your move?
Yeah. So the fixed setups, they usually put some stupid, I think it's was it short gear in it. Should be all of them should have 46 on here almost, and I think they have like a 97 or 507 in it, 506, something like that. But I've tried in qualifying. I just took the limiter all the way down to 90. That's the lowest you can go, 90% power, and I think I timed 7th quick. So I know when I was running Lernerville open setups, 410s official this week, I was running 93 in the features and winning those. So I had a 92 in it tonight. And at Port Royal, you want to think you have to limit it 8%, but it was working. So just try to limit the wheel spin and try to keep it going. But definitely dogged you on the restarts though.
Well, you know, Patrick, I mean, I'm not the first guy to say this, and not even tonight, but that's why we love you, man. You're willing to help out the people who don't really know what they're doing, and you go above and beyond for this league with the way you do the points, and we don't appreciate you enough, Patrick, but hell of a job, man. Way to bring home P2 to cap the season. Who do you want to thank?
Just you for the awesome broadcast each week, hopping in with Marty and them on Mondays and doing it every week on Wednesday, filming on Thursdays. Just awesome job, and the Tuesday nights you're doing. Yeah, Roger for running the league and everything he does for it, all the admins. Andy Patton, he doesn't even race on Wednesday nights, but he spends 3 hours watching us do pace laps for 2 hours. So that's nice for him. And Triangle with Racing and Dad Uncle back home watching.
Well, great job, Patrick. Love having you up here, man. Hopefully you can bring home some hardware next season. What do you say?
Yeah, we'll give her a try.
That's Patrick Spangler in the 39. And now we're going to bring up the champion and winner, Blake. We know the 360 race didn't go according to plan. But, man, other than those cautions, it's got to feel good to get out front and stay there, kid.
Yeah, absolutely. I was hoping for kind of a repeat of last week where I could just run away and hide a little bit, but all those cautions kind of forced me to be a little bit more nervous, especially with Patrick right on me. So, yeah, it definitely feels good, though. We were able to get a really fast time in qualifying. We felt really good, and then heat race, we felt really good too, and we really didn't get off the bottom all night, which really don't mind.
Yeah, so Blake, I'm going to ask you a question that basically comes from Patrick leaking a little bit of information, and I'm anxious to see if you want to keep the cards close to your chest. Hell, I don't blame you, but it's a guy like me, I ain't that good at these things. I wouldn't even think about it. But now when you're getting all that grip down there on the bottom, Blake, do we mess around with the engine power at all in the setup? Do we mess around with that like Patrick does?
I was really thinking about that actually before the feature because the top was so fast and it was getting slick coming off the corners. So when that happens, you definitely want to restrict your engine a little bit. But I noticed the exits of the corners on the bottom, there was just still so much grip left down there. So I decided to keep all the power I could get in the motor. And I think I made the right decision there because we were able to drive off the corners off the bottom really, really well. And that's probably what won me the race. So I would have taken some out. Definitely wouldn't have got the drive off the corners like I did. So I think we definitely made the right move. And I've won features before, taking some out. You just have to kind of read the track and know where you want to go on the track and see if it's slick or not, and definitely adjust accordingly.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that's why you two are the best we have to offer, and you proved it again, man. Brought home your second championship of the night. Congratulations, kid. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I got to thank Ross at Velocity Race Designs for putting the money up and making this broadcast available. I got to thank the family for watching all season long. Got to thank all the guys at the Krite Sim Racing team. And of course, I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Also got to thank Andy for admitting all three of these divisions all year long. That's definitely not easy to admin all of them, but we appreciate him doing that for us. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. Definitely got to celebrate with some of the best stuff out there. You can head over to their website and don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off. And I got to thank, of course, my long lost cousin Shaggy up in the booth. Do a great job with it every week.
Well, man, I wish I did half as good up here as you do on the track. Congratulations, kid. Way to bring home another one, man. Looking forward to see what you can do next year. You only set the bar higher on yourself every year, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's your points winner. And, I mean, I don't know. I probably can't say this. I mean, who's going to yell at me? But I'm just going to do it. He's the best racer we have in the league. I mean, Blake, it doesn't matter what he's in. It could be a damn street stock. He can hop in a truck and run with me, Isaac, and Dan McLaren in an asphalt. It doesn't matter what this kid does. I mean, he's just top talent. His interviews are on point. I mean, the kid's a gracious loser and an even more gracious winner. You got to love it. The best Coast to Coast has to offer, and he walks out with the hardware once again. So with that, that's going to wrap it up here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Make sure you're back tomorrow, 6:45, 7 around that time. Look at Dino pull that beautiful wheelie there on the side of the screen. Is make sure you tune your butt back in here. We're at Oswego. So it's going to be a big one. I mean, all the FTM boys are going to be ready to show out for Dino, and this is going to be a good show tomorrow night. So make sure you tune in with Marty Cicali here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, signing off. Have a great evening.